But if Jack Della Maddalena can match him in terms of strength, then I think perhaps it could be a good bout. I think with Sean Brady, who Belal did beat, finished him in the second round. I've said over and over again, I think Sean Brady is the toughest test for Belal Muhammad in the welterweight division. And it comes down to that sort of physical strength and wrestling. I know their first fight didn't play out that way, but that'll be the real thing that I'm looking for, is if this fight goes to the ground, how strong can Jack be against Belal Muhammad?
Well,
go ahead.
And how does Belal test that? Like, does he wait around before he really starts to get into that? Like, that to me, the first round and how Belal attacks will be very fascinating to me, because to your point, Jay, if he starts to feel the strikes, does he not abandon it, but maybe wait around, or maybe even two before he starts to try to shoot and take him down a little bit if there is some early striking success?
And Jack Della Maddalena is definitely an experienced, talented grappler. Craig Jones going to be in his corner. I did a watch along at UFC Fight Pass Saturday night, and Brendan McCatherine, BMAC, who was telling me about, Craig Jones, Jack Della Maddalena sleeping Craig Jones in training or whatever it is. Craig Jones legit. But none of that stuff really phases Belal. And I guess what I'll say finally, and I'll let you have the last word, is that for Belal, in his chase of this, he's unbeaten in his last 11 fights. There were so many opportunities where the UFC tried not to give him this opportunity. This welterweight championship was his opportunity to fight for the belt, yet at UFC 300, they were looking at other options for Leon Edwards, everybody but Belal Muhammad. So July 27th last year, he realized a championship. Defending this, even just one time, I think changes everything in the way Belal is viewed, right? He gets through this one. He's won 12 straight, defended the welterweight title. George St. Pierre's in the building. What else do you need, right? So I think while winning the belt, and I know I'm long-winded here, but my brother talked about when Belal beat Gilbert Burns, that was the championship fight because that punched his ticket to the championship. But what happens is they all just become bigger and bigger. But I believe this one, right? And by no means is Belal done. I think he is right at the top of his prime. But you win this one, you did it, bro. You did it.
You did. It did. Now, will Belal feel that way? Because that almost feels like I've completed the mission versus this is the beginning of a new chapter.
Belal's mission is to be the greatest mixed martial artist of all time and be in conversations that he is not in today. So no, the mission wouldn't certainly be over in any way. And also, he's one of those guys, my brother says all the time, that wants to turn around every 3 months. There's rumblings of UFC going to Chicago in August. Belal wants to get through this unscathed and defend in August. I'll tell you right now, Belal, 100% he's going to be fighting again once, if not twice more in 2025. So I'd like him to get through this test here, though. You could be sure.
No doubt about it. Get the first one checked off and then sort of go from there. I have big belief in Belal. The moment's not going to be too big for him. If anything, it's the other way around. He's been waiting for this moment his whole MMA career. Winning the title was one thing, but Jay, you make a good point. Defending it is another. So winning it, you check the box. Now you kind of now you write your name down once you become a guy who has defended it at least one time. And it will be interesting to see crowd reaction, how people. Man. Yeah, how do you?
You
were
right in my head. That was exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah,
literally,
where do you? How's that going to go down in that fight?
I was going to ask you, right? And obviously, in Manchester, you're in Leon Edwards' backyard, and Belal has not necessarily been this fan favorite, but I do believe he's going to get some love in Montreal. I really do. I really do. And I'll leave it at that. But you know what? I'm not sure it's going to matter either way to Belal. You know what I mean? And his focus is just supreme. When he walks to the octagon, gosh, man, I'd love a heart rate monitor on the guy because he's just wired differently. Just that he's so relaxed. And we talk, Cory Sandhagen needs to be ready to kill, pacing back and forth. Belal's the opposite. He's just chilling.
Yeah. What do you make of the Sandhagen performance the other night?
Very strong, really happy for him. I think he should sit on his hands until that title shot represents an opportunity for himself.
I agree.
I'm really happy for him. He's one of my favorite people. I've talked to him several times after losses, and never have I seen someone with that type of perspective. I've never seen someone want it as bad as he does and be able to compartmentalize the loss quite like he does. So I think he's a great, Sean O'Malley. Look, I love me some Merab, but if Sean O'Malley can find a way to get through Merab, I mean, what a gift. Sean O'Malley, Cory Sandhagen. That's one of the biggest fights I think the promotion can make. I really do.
I'm with you on that, and it's
in that class, maybe.
Yeah, but it's good to know that Cory Sandhagen, even after a loss, is not like James Harden, who runs out the exit stage left on yet another playoff loss. You bitch.
Bingo.
Unbelievable. All right, well, there we go. There is a abbreviated edition of Gas. We shave it a little bit because everybody's got to run in different directions today. Thank you for being a part of this edition of Gas. If you end up winning some bets, show us some love on social media, will you please? At The Real Gresh, at Boston Anik, at Cody_Mero, at Gas Show AM. If you've taken any of our info and used it to your advantage, then God love you, and make sure you let us know we helped you make some money. All right, brother. So you'll be in Montreal. I'm coming back from Vegas on Friday, and you're going to Montreal on Friday, right? Or are you going on Thursday?
Yeah, I'm going up Thursday. Cody and I will be in the belly of the beast. I'm really excited for Cody. Cody and I have done a podcast with Belal Muhammad since September of 2020, and Cody was not in Manchester. So he's been in the building when Belal has fought, but never when a belt was on the line. And what I will say, right, for like, even I tweeted about this a couple weeks ago, but even to hear Bruce Buffer, the reigning, defending, undisputed welterweight champion of the world, Belal, remember the name Muhammad,
yep.
When John does the weigh-ins, the man around whom this fight card was built, Belal Muhammad. I'm just happy for my friend to get this opportunity, but his only focus is winning the fight. Let's go.
Yeah, go Belal, go win. Hopefully, Cody will level off his drinking a little bit. It won't be like in Newark. He put it in the chat. I had to use it. Everybody have a great week. We will see you back here next week for another.
Peace.